referred to in some texts as being the sirens of the land. Adventurers can be led to their depths through a song of what they believe to be that of a beautiful woman, only to be tricked into walking off of a ledge or an inescapable trap. And you thought Jigsaw was the trap master. Here is our look at today's underused monster, the Harpy. Greetings to everybody out there in the YouTube multiverse and the D&D multiverse. Out here, most of the pre-written modules, I'll say back from 1970s to the 1990s, mostly featured the Harpy as a random encounter on their D20 tables. Or unless you had a subscription to Dungeon Magazine at the time. Example, the Harpy encounter at the beginning of Tamarot's Fate in issue 106 of the dungeon. Most of the time, these encounters would be in a location that you would never find a Harpy to begin with. I remember such an encounter. I was in a party and we were sent to go check an abandoned kobold warren. The villagers around the area had made peace with the kobolds and they couldn't figure out why they left in the middle of the night for no reason at all. Somewhere near the middle of the warren, we entered a room. There was a Harpy in there. Everybody immediately started asking what Harpy was doing inside of a kobold warren with very narrow tunnels, low ceilings, and no conceivable possible way for this creature to be there in the first place, unless it was kidnapped as an egg and managed to hatch in there, which we didn't find any signs of an egg either. But this story is going to be saved for another time. Over the editions, they have went from being the size of, say, a great eagle, with a grotesque face, the upper body of a human or elven female, and the lower body and the wings of a vulture. This closely follows the description from the Greek and Roman mythology into something that closely resembles the Harpy that is found in most of the MMORPGs today. Now, physically, there is absolutely no obvious physical difference between the male and female of the species. They don't wear any clothing to speak of, but they will adorn themselves with the random trinkets and stuff they pluck from their victims. Their coal black eyes have dark vision, and they live on the average of 25 to 50 years. Now, starting around age 2, they can lay up to 20 eggs at a time and at will. Now, these eggs will have roughly a 10 to 13% mortality rate. Among the teenage and adult Harpies, there is constant bickering and fighting among their ranks. Now, this will most of the time result in the death of one or both of the Harpies involved, because it can get very brutal. A tribe of Harpies is called a scream. They prefer to build their nest-like homes on walls of chasms, abandoned temples or ruins, and other locations where access is nearly impossible, except for maybe that of a skilled climber. These can be located in swamps, forests, or even along coastlines, while keeping their favorite food source within a very safe distance. These beings have a very low intelligence, and they're mostly driven by instinct and appetite. Harpies only take what they can carry in their talons. Most of the time, this would be something that they stripped from their prey, or sometimes a shiny bauble or something like that embossed. If their intended victim happens to be a flying creature, the Harpy will disable one of its wings, causing the prey to wobble and drop from the sky. Here it can be picked at into more manageable and bite-sized pieces for the Harpy to transport back to its nests. If the intended victim is humanoid, the Harpy will use its song. Now, this song has an effective range of roughly 300 feet in all directions from the Harpy. And the primary purpose of the harpy song is to lure its intended victim to its death or into a trap where it can be picked at by a few or several harpies. There are several stories out there about the harpy and how its song came to be, several of which are very closely related in origin. My favorite one states that a young 20-something female elf was out in the woods gathering edibles for her mother or grandmother and heard the song. It was both captivating and foreign to her. As she followed this beautiful song, she approached the clearing and she saw a young male elf sitting on a log singing. When she approached him, he ran off into the woods and vanished from sight. She had searched for him for several hours, with not even finding a single trace of him out there. When she was about to give up, she heard from up in the branches the song again. And an older female elf was descending, like it was levitating down. She was so excited to hear the song again that she asked where the song came from and if she could be taught this lovely tune. After learning the song of such beauty, she asked where she could find the male elf that she saw and heard singing this. The woman that taught her the song said, "You'll have to search these woods far and wide to locate him." She said, "I have no way to perform such a task. I'm unable to fly, and I must get back to my home before it gets dark. I must have to give up." The woman offered her the gift of flight to perform this quest. After accepting this gift, she was transformed into what we know today as the harpy. Now, I cannot remember where I heard the story at. If you do know the story, please tell me in the comments below where I can locate it. Maybe I can get it straight and retell it. Now, it has been said that there are several objects in the game that will protect an adventurer from the harpy song. I'll take it from someone who's been in the game since 1978. These items are very few and far between. In fact, you'd have to be very lucky to come across one of these in your dungeoneering and other travels. You could even happen to find one by being extremely lucky and fortunate through a traveling merchant or a market vendor who might just happen to have one of them. Odds are they might not know what it is used for in the first place, and you can get a pretty good deal on it. But be warned, some of these trinkets might be cursed, and you might become that which you're looking for protection from. Now tell me in those comments down there what you thought of today's video. How would you use the harpy in your adventures? Of course, all of our reference materials will be listed below. Now over here are a couple more videos that we've made, some of which you might find interesting. Until next time, thank you for watching. Now grab that D and roll your damage.